pre-season testing for the 2023 F1 season, is now in the books. After 3 days of picking their challenges through the places, all 10 F1 teams now have a clearer picture of where they stand and where their rivals stand too, with the caveat that a lot of guesswork goes into testing and looking at data, with teams running different programs, different fuel loads, and even tyre components that are not approved for next weekend's Bahrain Grand Prix. We have a slightly clearer picture of how the field stands ahead of the season starts. Here are the winners and the losers and the great unknown. 2023 began just as 2022 ended, with Red Bull and Max Verstappen looking strong and landing atop the classification. Verstappen stood atop for the first day of testing, and the Italian's 2023 challenger, the RB19, was strong throughout all 3 days, they look formidable yet again, with sources close to the team indicating they might have a big advantage. Even Red Bull's biggest competitors, Ferrari and Mercedes, conceded that they look very strong. Charles Leclerc was among those singing Red Bull praises, saying they seem to be strong in the 3 days. As for Mercedes driver George Russell, calling the idea of challenging in Bahrain a stretch, whether it could go in the next weekend, I said he thinks it's a stretch. Red Bull looks very stable, the car is performing very well, and Max is performing very well, so Russell doesn't think he'll be able to batter them this season, hopefully as the season tightens up, we'll have a closer battle, but at least at the start it looks like Red Bull have got a great advantage. With the cost cap, the vision was that limiting spending would bring the teams closer together. While the FIA indicated that racing was better last season, it would take years before the impact of the cost cap would be realised. If testing in Bahrain was any indication, that day could be closer than thought. A few teams in the middle of the pack and even down the pecking order have reasons to head into the season with smiles on their faces. There are reasons to be optimistic at Williams, where rookie Logan Sargent and teammate Alex Albon looked strong in the first 2 days. Albon conceded that we're not in a bad place and talked about progress during the season. At Alfa Romeo, there was a failure on Saturday during the afternoon session, but the signs were well. Zhou Guanyu posted the fastest time on Friday, and while that came on the softer C4, there will not still be positives for Alfa Romeo, and there's a reason they can be in the midfield fight again. But the team in the middle of the park truly turning highs is Aston Martin. Got off to a rocky start, admittedly, with Lance Stroll being injured and Felipe Drugovich having to step in his place, having an early red flag on electrical failure, but they've been strong since. Others are noticing. Haas driver K-Mag said they look strong, and they seem to be constantly doing good long runs, and when they put it into a fast time, they seem to do it well. So I think they may have done a big step. Haas have even drawn some attention. Hulkenberg posted the 5th best time on Friday, and performance this week was last year's 8th place finishes. Had some wondering, may they push up the table? That's all left us wondering how much closer could the field be this season. More teams in contention for points, podiums, maybe even. It could be an exciting season for the fans coming up. I think it's fair to say a big loser of testing was McLaren. F1 teams usually coy during testing, trying to manage their expectations, while in the case they might have a little more power and pace when it truly starts. However, McLaren's taken a different approach. They've been kind of realistic from the start, let's say, especially Andrea Stellet. He said, in terms of performance expectation, we remain realistic. We will say where we are in Bahrain at the test in the first race. Independently of that, we have a good development in the pipeline, so we remain optimistic for the season ahead. Well, we now know they have fared in Bahrain, and that led to even more brutal honesty from Stella and CEO Zach Brown. The car has struggled with braking and cornering on the track, and the two bosses at McLaren have been open about where the team is and where it needs to be. Brown conceded the team failed to meet some goals during development, while Stella was even more forthright. Last year, we had some clear objectives in terms of development. They had to do with aerodynamic efficiency, some development related to exploitation of the tyres, and others to improve balance. The reality is most of these have actually been met, but the objective in terms of aerodynamic efficiency of the car, the ones where we're still shy of our target, that coupled with some midfield gains has Stella concerned. I think we'll see again the midfield is compact, and that means if you don't do a good job even in setting up, maximising what you have, you may struggle to get out of Q1. At the same time, you may be a Q3 contender. So we don't know. This is testing. You can never get too carried away. But we'll get our first true look at the cars next week. No more sandbagging, no more testing into proper racing. And I can't wait to find out who's where. Anyway guys, that's it for the video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and hit the subscribe button for the show for daily F1 news, and subscribe to the channel. It's greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace.